Hi, this is Helen, and I want to share with you 5 ways that you can use your existing team meetings to practice different person-centered tools and really embed a person-centered culture. So the first way of doing it is actually practicing the skills and tools themselves. So you might decide on the greatest priority for your team at the moment. You might think that's the donut, so people are really clear about where they can use their creativity and judgment, but what are the things that they really must do. So if you've got the e-learning, you could simply ask them to go back to the e-learning, go to the module on the donut, it'll take 15 or 20 minutes, and come to the team meeting refreshed about the donut, getting ready to practice it themselves. So you might be sharing a good example of a donut and a poor example of the donut and working on one together. Or the easiest way of doing it is through Team 15. So in Team 15, we've already set up for you a short film, some exercises and an agenda that take no more than 15 minutes. And of course, if you've already got the e-learning, these are available to you. The other thing you can do is using some of the tools for reflection and evaluation concerning projects or themes that you're looking at. So if you're really looking at how to support people who don't use words to speak to communicate, you could use the 4+1 to say, over the last month or 2 months, what have we tried, learned, pleased about, concerned about, what do we want to do next? Or if you're thinking about how to really work in partnership with families, you could use working, not working. What do we think we're getting right? What do we need to work on more that isn't working? And what would be our best guess at what families would say is working or not working? And how can we check that out with them? The third one is about sharing and celebrating success. So how can you encourage each other with the progress that you're making? So that might simply be doing a round where people are sharing a person-centered thinking tool that they've been working on and sharing stories about successes that they've had as well. That would be a great thing to do. You could take it even further by using the achievement exercise that our colleague Max Neal developed that's available on the website. Another way of approaching this is problem solving together. So that's where you might ask somebody to come and present a difficulty or a challenge or a situation where they struggled using a particular tool, and then everybody support them to think through what they could do next or really understand the causes of that. And there are different processes like solution circles and other things that you could use, but sometimes simply just doing a round of reflections and suggestions can really help people move forward. And then finally, using your team meetings a bit like accountability circles, where people come and share the personal goals that they've got around developing their confidence and competence around using person-centered thinking tools, and sharing where they're up to and having that as a standard agenda item. So 5 relatively simple ways of using your existing time in team meetings to build on what people have learnt through the training or the e-learning, using things like Team 15, but keeping person-centered practices and developing a person-centered culture at the forefront of how you work. Thank you.